She's giving me the head nod. Welcome, everybody. I'm calling this meeting to order at 6:05 and asking Pam Schilling for a roll call, please.
Start with Katie Schwer, here. Barry Tenenbaum.
Here.
Jennifer Whipple. Here. Jack Wilson.
Here.
Mark Hill.
Here.
Bernie Brower. Robin Chandler. Here. Thank you.
And we always like to thank Grassroots for recording our meetings. They are played live, and you can also find them again if you decide to watch them over and over. That would be fun. And also, I'd like to announce that I will be hosting whatever, my mayor's coffee at Saxy's tomorrow at 8 a.m. So everybody is welcome to come bring questions, comments, etc. The first item is the consent agenda, and it is the minutes from the April 19th meeting, a special event activity permit for Aspen Valley Marathon, the special event activity permit for Ragnar Relay, and something we just received in the packet, which is a proclamation declaring Friday, April 29th, Arbor Day. Is there a motion on the consent agenda?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Just consent agenda, okay. The next item is for citizen comments that are not on the agenda. Are there any? Yes, ma'am. Just say your yes.
Got to go to the.
Oh, right, the
sorry.
microphone.
Good evening, my name is Heather Kent, and I have been involved for years in a land use dispute involving both the town and two adjacent landowners. It is my understanding that the town staff has been advised by council not to speak to me regarding this matter. My question is, does this apply to all of the rest of you as well?
This is a public comment, and it's not a debate, and I think that we should have a discussion in executive session because of the potential for litigation regarding this matter.
Heather, just so you know, in citizen comments for items not on the agenda, we just take comments and we never engage in a discussion because we never have enough, we haven't allowed enough time on the agenda for that, so.
Thank you, and I certainly understand. I would like to approach some of you at a more appropriate time, if that's something that you're willing to entertain.
I think that
Thank
we
you.
probably need to check with our attorney. Thank you.
Okay.
I saw another hand, yes. Yes, you do because of the recording device, yeah.
Okay, unbeknownst to you, my name is Lynn Mace, and I own the Toe Clock Gallery. And I just have, I understand you're going on a retreat here soon, and I would like you to please remember these sorts of things, that they don't get left aside for all the talk about the park. And the one is the completion of the Roaring Fork Conservancy. I don't quite understand where that is and why it isn't moving forward. Also, there's the ever important issues of employee housing and childcare to be considered along with all the money being spent on the park. The ballot issue, I'd love for us to know where that is. Is it going to be in November? And that's not a direct question. And the other is Resolution 9 and what's happening with that. So now you have something to talk about during your retreat.
Thank you.
There's three of us together.
Oh, gee, okay. Is there a spokesperson?
It's funny, they all went up at the same time. Which one are you gonna choose first?
Good evening. Hi.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Hello.
Welcome to the front table.
Thank you. A lot easier to hear up here.
My name is Joe Enzer, and I'm here with my teammates, Kim Dubois and Cindy Hirschfeld. And we are part of the current class of Roaring Fork Leadership. And we chose to work with Habitat for Humanity as our civic project. And as part of that, we wanted to appear before all the local elected boards and talk just a very short period of time about Habitat for Humanity, in addition to meeting personally and reaching out to realtors, title companies, property managers, architects, designers, construction companies, and others who may be involved in demolition, and home remodel. Our goal is to increase awareness and show we can make a difference. And to that end, we'd like to talk just a very short period of time about some of what Habitat for Humanity does, although I know some of you are very aware of what they do already. We all grew up watching Sesame Street, and one of the iconic characters of Sesame Street is Oscar. But Oscar's grouchy, and Oscar is grouchy because he has to live in a garbage can. One of the realities of living in this area is the limited resources associated with disposal of trash and construction waste. The Pickens County landfill is projected to reach the end of its life in about 15 years. Although there is an expansion plan, that expansion plan still only extends it another 10 years. In Pickens County, 64% of the material brought into the landfill comes from construction and demolition. And 2015 was a record-breaking year. When the landfill reaches its max, there is no plan for a new one. Closing a landfill can be expensive. Jackson Hole, Wyoming is currently seeking funds to finish closing its landfill at an estimated cost of $10 million to close it.
And once the landfill closes, all the trash will have to be shipped out of the valley, requiring dozens of trucks per day on 82, even more traffic. And plus it would almost double the cost of waste disposal. And using Teton County, Wyoming again as an example, their trash has to be sent almost 100 miles away to Idaho. It may be easy to think that it's not our problem to fix this, and that I can't personally do anything to extend the life of the landfill. But that's not true. Habitat for Humanity has a program where they will pick up for free items from your home demolition or your remodel, and then they sell those items back to the community at their restores. The proceeds from the sale of those items then go toward Habitat helping to build homes for families in need in the valley. And you can feel like you're not only doing the right thing, but get some great tax deductions as well.
The Roaring Fork Valley can be a leader. We've done it before. We have lots of examples of this. Other communities have taken steps to deal with the problem. For example, in Boulder County, they have the Boulder County Build Smart Code for unincorporated areas of the county, where they require deconstruction projects to salvage all the reusable cabinets, doors, windows, flooring and fixtures, and reuse or recycle clean lumber and wood sheathing. Meanwhile, the City of Boulder's deconstruction permits that at least require that at least 65% of the material by weight be diverted from the landfills. Help reduce the landfill's carbon footprint while helping to provide more local homes for those in need. We need for you to get involved by spreading the word and shopping or by donating at Habitat Restores, and together we feel that we can make a difference and support our community.
Wow. So Joe, Kim, and Cindy from Roaring Fork Leadership, I have to say, you guys are awesome. I went through Roaring Fork Leadership. We didn't do anything like this.
Oh, really?
Like do a big project and go out into the community and present it. So we are kind of familiar, most of us, I think, with Habitat for Humanity. And I think there's probably a way for us to add some additional information to our website about Habitat and,
Awesome.
and the way that the community can help
fantastic.
with, especially the landfill issue.
Yeah, especially the landfill issue,
Yes.
which is really
Yeah, part of-
Right,
pressing.
that's the one that,
Part of what we did in conjunction with our presentation was develop a flyer. We're trying to get this in building departments, realtor's office, title offices, distributed to construction companies, so that there is something easily at hand if somebody walks in the door and has an interest in potentially recycling during a remodel or demolition.
Okay, I don't see any reason why we can't have that delivered to our building department official, and he can help
Just
us.
something to sit on the counter.
And we can leave a couple at the
Yeah,
back of the
yeah.
room.
Perfect,
for
and we can
anyone
get more, I'm sure.
wants to-
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you so much
Thank you
for
very
coming.
At least some of
Thank
you
you.
know where to
Time.
find us. Thank you.
thank you.
I think did I see another hand, or was it just, yes, ma'am?
Hi, I'm Jenna Mo. I'm the director of the Art Base. I'm here just to say thank you and welcome to the new council. And it's been a pleasure the 6 months I've been here so far to partner with the town and help bring vitality downtown through the arts. And we're excited to continue on that path. And it's really nice to work with all the town staff as well in close proximity. So thank you very much.
Thanks, Jenna.
Yeah.
Well, I hope the rest of the year is that pleasant.
Did I see one more hand out there? Yes, sir.
All right. My name is Brian Deal, and I just wanted to touch on something that came to mind today as I was thinking about how park-oriented Basalt is. The Basalt Bike Park in the last few years has gone kind of neglected in a way. It's mostly volunteer kind of effort in conjunction with, I know, probably Pickens County and BLM and other land management groups, but I just kind of wanted to bring up the fact that we have a really cool place to go ride bikes back there, but it's hard to ride bikes back there when there's weeds everywhere and things aren't rideable. So I just kind of wanted to bring that up and say thanks for listening.
Thank you, Brian, and I see
Well-
someone important writing that down.
Well, also, I'll tell you this, Brian, I'm also the Assistant Director of Pickens County Open Space and Trails, and so we hired a new resource manager, Ted O'Brien, and have you met him yet?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yes.
So we're gonna work with the town, and now I'm on my Pickens County role, but we're gonna work, the town and the county need to work better on implementing the park, like creating better parking there, actual parking there, so people can get to it easier, and better signage to show people that where it is, so I think we can work, but if we can have volunteers like you really get involved and continue to get involved, I think we'll find some more funding to be able to, kind of spiff it up and get it to the next level.
Okay,
So
yeah.
thanks.
If you need volunteers, let me know. I know of a few, and
Okay.
I would love
Well,
to
we
help.
definitely do, so yeah,
All right, I'll be in touch with you and Ted.
okay, great.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Is there any more that I didn't see out there? Any more hands? Okay, thank you so much. The next item is council comments, disclosures, and other reports. And I guess I would say we currently had scheduled a council retreat, but at least one of us could not be there on the date that was specified, so that's going to be rescheduled. And we'll probably bring something to this council to make some decisions regarding the dates. Clearly, we have to get everybody able to come and who our retreat facilitator might be, so. Are there other council comments? Yes, ma'am.
I just want the public to know, especially the town of Basalt, that the Crown Mountain Park and Rec District is having their election on May 3rd, so that's next Tuesday. It's not a mail-in ballot, you need to show up in person, and it's from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. at the Eagle County Building. So please show up and vote. There's 4 candidates running for 2 seats, and it's a 4-year term.
Are you one of them?
I'm on the Crown Mountain Board, and I'm year 2 into a 4-year term, so I am not one of the 4.
Good, you just did that. Did you have anything? Okay, anybody? Gary?
Well, I wanted to talk about like what else is on this agenda, just so I think, doing a status of our town planning and a council direction on staff PIF is a little early in discussion. I think we need to, as a board, really think about getting everybody up to speed on the Our Town plannings process and the park and the development proposals and everything else before we really this status is just quick and this could just take forever, and I think we need to really set a time, a work session time, just to discuss certain pieces. I mean, we heard tonight, affordable housing is a big issue, but we also should get everybody up to speed on, the financial, accounting of where we are in town, so everybody understands, because what we're gonna be talking about on park planning and development planning and whatever else we have going on, we're gonna need to know that. So, I would like to table those 2 things. And the PIF thing is way too early to really talk about for doing a policy. So I don't know if I'd like to see other people that would like to just table those for,
Is that a motion?
I'll make a motion to table those to another meeting where we can really discuss, have work sessions to really discuss the big pressing needs, so we can get all of the council on board with what's going on, because we got new people. I think I want to get back up to speed of where we are financially. So I make that motion.
Is there a second?
I second that motion, and I thank Gary for bringing this up, because as a new council member, I have so much to learn that I don't feel comfortable moving forward on these issues until I have a significant amount of information under my belt.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Is there further discussion on whether or not to table this item? These
So
items?
Gary, we're tabling the update just to go deeper into that, to get new town council members further.
Oh, the update, the status of our town planning process, I mean, really truly, we could talk about it for a really long time, but I think we should set a specific work session on that, because it is such a huge topic. And to get, the 3 new people, I think we should have that, and hopefully Bernie will be back then, and we can make sure that we have everybody on board for that discussion, because in the end, we're gonna be giving staff and the community direction from where we wanna go. And so I just think doing it tonight is a little early in the process, and, we could spend all night doing it. So, I mean, I'd really, for me, I would like to table that. And then the PIF thing, I never saw that coming on any future agenda, and I don't know why we're doing it, and I just want to table that, because that has to do with a lot of other policies. I mean, we got to figure out what policies we need as a board before we do a PIF policy. And so, anyway.
Is there a pressing need to talk about that now, or is it okay to?
The PIF?
The PIF?
It was just a request that we'd received from a developer, and odd in that there's not really a good public mechanism to collect these additional sales taxes, and they wanted to use the town simply because we have better sales tax information. And our feeling was, we would like to get rid of it. Either, staff go find out what it costs, or just not do it and entertain the discussion if we have to. Because they can establish this now, the district, without us collecting it. So it was about us if we were going to do this, we could make money doing it. But our fear was, if we got more of these PIF districts, we'd get stuck and we wouldn't have enough staff in order to do all of them.
Would we have to approve the PIF?
No.
What kind of special, I mean, to me, that's,
This is a PIF that the developer can put on the property without our permission.
Okay.
well, and that's, because the memo didn't really go over all of that.
Right.
So it'd be a long, I mean, I don't know.
And could I just ask everybody, I know some people aren't used to this kind of a meeting, but if everybody could ask for the floor, that's how we kind of keep control, so that people who are more quiet, make sure they get their turn, and people who are more bold don't get all the floor. So if you could just ask for the floor, I will call on you for sure. Is there any further discussion regarding Gary's motion? Yes. Yes.
So, just so I understand, this is something that you're trying to get knocked out so that it doesn't get us. Is it a lengthy conversation?
It doesn't have to be. I mean, I think what we laid out were like the pros and cons. You could make about this much money. The problem is, if you got more of these, it would be hard to do. And just making sure that you had the opportunity, if you wanted us to pursue it, we'll pursue it. But if not, we'll just tell future developers and property owners, no, that is not a business that we're in, collecting sales tax on their behalf.
Okay, any more discussion? Yeah.
I want to express that in the memo, it's kind of coming out of the blue that this is per a developer's request, and just for future, that would be an important piece that would be nice for me to know so that I can research it ahead of time, because now I feel a little bit like I want to discuss it, but on the other side, I don't, because I don't know the information about it, and in this context, it doesn't seem like the right, or not that it doesn't seem, I don't feel that it's a time for me to,
And just so everyone knows, tabling an item doesn't mean it's dead. I mean, it usually doesn't mean it's dead. It means it's gonna come back at some future time. But, you know, I've spoken with a lot of the council people, and the truth is that we have to prioritize our discussion items. And this has never been brought up to me by a council person as a priority. And the priorities have been the priorities that Lynn has brought up, quite honestly, that we should be discussing first. So we can definitely come back and address this. All this is a let's not talk about it tonight motion. So if there's no further discussion, all in favor of tabling these two items?
Aye.
Say aye. Opposed?
I'm abstaining.
Because you don't have enough information, or why?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. So the next item is actually the town manager's report. Mr. Scanlon.
I'm saving all my time for Lewis, because if you looked at the engineer's report, that's really the important things that we're working on.
Is Louis here?
He's right behind me, and he's in the back row.
Hello, Louis. How are you? Have you met our new council members at some point? What about Katie?
You look nice tonight, by the way, Louis.
Yeah. Louis, Mark thinks you look pretty.
You look nice tonight. I like how she changed her word to pretty. I didn't say pretty.
I know, I'm sorry.
Engineers can dress up. Good evening, Mayor Whitsett, members of council. There are numerous engineering items. What I'd really like to do is focus on the underpass and let you know what's transpired subsequent to your last meeting, where you recommended that we proceed with the low bidder. Subsequent to that, one of the first steps we had to do was get a concurrence letter from CDOT, which they're your partner in this project. It's what's called a local agency project, so you have to go through some CDOT methodology here. But the town did receive the concurrence letter, and what that allows the town to do is to proceed with making an official award, providing a contract agreement to the contractor, and starting to schedule things like pre-construction meetings. So after that, we've provided the agreement that the town would sign, the contract the town would sign with the low bidder to Tom, and Tom is in the process of reviewing that. As soon as that's done, we'll provide that to the contractor. But I would like to outline kind of what the schedule as we know it today might be for the underpass. First of all, the completion date for the project is October of 2017. So within that completion date timeframe, the contractor has flexibility about when he starts and how he conducts his means, methods, and techniques. The latest we've heard is the contractor would like to start in late August and early September. So if we back up from that, we will probably schedule a pre-construction meeting in the June timeframe. And in the June timeframe, we'll receive some of his updated schedule, and we'll bring that schedule back to you to make sure that everything is okay with you on the schedule. The schedule has a number of milestone dates in it. There are things like we are literally moving Highway 82 to one side and the other so that we can maintain not only the 4 through lanes, but the 2 turning lanes. So never will there be anything less than that during this project. He has to complete one side of the underpass as a certain milestone date. He has to complete the other part of the underpass with another milestone date. So we'll bring that all back to you. The reason that he would like to, they would like to start in late August, early September is really the groundwater issue. There's a tremendous groundwater table underneath Highway 82. There's really a separate channel of the Roaring Fork River that's flowing under Highway 82, so they'd like to schedule the significant part of the work during the low groundwater season. So thus, the significant construction time will be in the fall and the winter. Really, that's where we are today. I'd be happy to answer any questions you may have, concerns you may have, and
Gary?
So when we talk about the town taking out some of the, kind of the groundwater issues of making sure it's dewatered and stuff, how is that gonna be taken care of in this contract?
the responsibility for groundwater is in the contractors.
Is in the
Court.
contractors then?
Yes.
We
So-
just had the ability to take it out in case the contract bid came in too high? Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, Tom?
And they've investigated it, going to be an unforeseen condition situation?
It was debated at length.
Good.
During the pre-bid process, during the pre-bid meetings we had. It's a significant issue, and in fact, there's specific line items in the contract that address nothing but groundwater remediation.
Anybody else? Thanks, Louis. Did you have any questions for us?
No, I don't think so.
How about the floodplain?
Are you gonna talk about the, what?
The floodplain.
Yeah,
Floodplain.
okay, good.
First of all, I apologize if the floodplain reports are a little bit repetitive. It's because we're dealing with the federal process, FEMA process, which goes very slowly. But where we are is when the application was submitted to FEMA and for the new council members' benefit, we are remapping the floodplain on the south side of Highway 82 because of the construction of the bridge, which split the flows when the bridge was first put in certain ways, and we've since found out that the water really doesn't go that way. So we're remapping the floodplain, and in essence, what we're doing is the amount of water that would go to the south side of the highway is much, much less than was anticipated when the bridge was first built. So the end result of that is it takes a lot of properties out of the floodplain and the floodway, which impacts people's insurance rates. It impacts what people can do from a town land use point of view. So that's application was submitted by CDOT, the town of Basalt, and their contractor, AECom. The first thing, the regulatory agency that oversees floodplains is the Federal Emergency Management Agency, FEMA. They did a completeness review of the report and had 5 items that needed to be finalized. CDOT and their contractor did the first 3. The last 2 were really public notification processes, which the town of Basalt undertook. So that really required notifying all the affected landowners, doing public notices in the newspaper, and having a public meeting. The open house was last week. So now that that's all done, that triggers a 90-day review process, which anyone can oppose or send a letter of opposition to the floodplain mapping. To date, we haven't heard anyone concerned about that. So that triggers a 90-day review process. Once that's finished, the official floodplain, it's called a letter of map revision, will be finalized. And this is where it gets a little complicated. At the same time, Pitkin County is undertaking a process to revise the entire floodplain in all of Pitkin County, because just mapping methods are better, tools are better to better map floodplains in the entire county. That process is going on concurrently with the town of Basalt. we want to make sure that the official map that's adopted by FEMA includes what the town of Basalt is trying to do. So we have inquired to FEMA to make sure that happens. And what FEMA has told us is that the Pitkin County process is going to take much, much longer than the town of Basalt process, because there will likely be a lot of folks that don't agree with the Pitkin County mapping and will enter formal legal letters of opposition. And they indicated that will take years to go through, so the town of Basalt process will precede that and be included in the official mapping. So that's kind of where we're at with this.
I just have a quick question for you. You said the public can comment or oppose. How does the public know that they are able to do that?
The public notifications that went out and the newspaper advertisements went out had listed what that process is.
Anybody? Questions for Louis? Okay. Thanks, Louis.
Thank you.
And then, before we leave, Louis, at the very end of his report, talked about the safe routes to school, and there were 6 or 7 people in particular in the community that helped with that. Katie Erickson, Lisa George, Denise Latusek, Maria Paul Amera, Kelly Smith, Adriana Torres, and a lot of you might have known her from the Fort Trailer Park. And the person that really led the effort was Jen Elsperman when she was the vice principal at the elementary school before she went to the middle school, but she was sort of the chair that got the reports together, kept the minutes, and then helped Denise put together the grant application. And that Safe Routes to School is worth $264,000, and we were one of 11 projects that were approved. And those of you that went to Pitkin County, that's where Pitkin said they would backstop us if we didn't get the Safe Routes to School. But it was those 7 women in particular that did all the work, and a lot of thanks to them.
Thank you for naming them, calling them out.
And then, of course, Denise did all the hardcore packaging, and she did a really great job of that, so. Denise in our office, Muscovy.
Okay. Yeah, thanks again, Louis. Have a good evening. The next item is discussion of appointments, followed by motion to appoint. Mike and I talked a little bit about this, and I mean, I think there are some appointments on here that we could do tonight, and maybe Susan could walk us through this. But I think there are also some other boards that are citizen boards that we were hoping would come and do presentations for us about what they do, whether it be the Green Team or Post or who, so that the council can optionally sit on these boards as well, but it would be nice to hear from those boards before council members decide if they want to take their time. I think it's a good idea. I think there's a better connection with those citizen boards if there's a council person that has time to sit on those. But Susan, if there are board appointments that we could do now, that would be great.
Well, I would say that maybe that if the members that are actually on, a couple of them could confirm that they're willing to stay on for the time being. Like the Root Eye Water and Power Authority is currently Mark Kettle, and so if he's willing to kind of stay on, so if everybody who has an existing appointment can stay on for a while, I'd say maybe the ones that have actual vacancies, maybe even if we had an interim. The Roaring Fork Transit Authority has a real position and an alternate, so that might be one where we actually appoint someone. And the Basalt Emergency Management Committee, that would be one. They meet every other month on Thursday at 8:30, so it has to be someone that can meet at that time.
Could we maybe just stop at these because?
Sure, I was just gonna maybe list them and then go back, but would you rather just stop?
Mark already said.
Okay.
So if the RAFTA board, I would love to remain on that board, but it really would be nice to have an alternate that actually attends. Beacon County always has an alternate with them. Some of the other jurisdictions bring an alternate, because I think it's very helpful to come back to council and have another mind that can say, you know, I thought this was important at the RAFTA meeting, or a reminder that this is a decision that we need to send back to RAFTA. So I would ask if someone, it's kind of a time commitment on one day of the month. It's like 8:30 a.m. till almost noon usually. Don't everybody speak up at once?
Bernie seems to have a lot of time.
It's in
He's
Carbondale.
not here.
Let's pick Bernie.
I was about to say, we can appoint Bernie to everything to me.
Okay, I mean, actually, that would not be a bad idea.
To appoint him to
Well, on this
everything?
one at
Oh.
least, because he's.
Let's ask him first. But I would think, you know, honestly, trying to think about the time commitment, when I was on council last time, I served as the representative, and it is a huge time suck for people who have jobs. It is, so it's great for the more retired people of the more people who have time on our board, that potentially could do that.
Who only have like mayor jobs and businesses.
Yes.
Okay, what about Roaring Fork Conservancy? Is anybody particularly pulled to think about that one? I think that one is after-hours meeting, it's not in the daytime.
And indeed, the fourth Wednesdays at 4:30.
Yeah, so that's close to after-hours.
And probably would not weigh in on the development proposal for the river centers because of a potential conflict. I think Jackie did not attend that part of those meetings.
Right. Okay, maybe I should just say, is there any other ones that anybody will serve on?
The one that, the two that I think maybe if we could address, from our standpoint, is one, the Basalt Emergency Management Committee, which meets every other Thursday. It meets the second Thursdays every other month. And that's one where I think it would be good to have a counselor on it. And the other one that I was urged to get an appointment was Northwest COG. They have, you can now participate by phone because they hold their meetings all over the whole region. So it's to go to attend the meetings is quite a commitment, but you can do it by phone. And I attached the meeting schedule, and they have like 7 meetings like in 2016. So you can kind of see generally they're kind of meeting every other month.
In my memory, because I used to hear this, and it was a lot of windshield time, but my memory was that it could be a staff appointee, if there's anybody on staff that could go, or attend via phone? Just so we know. Yes, sir.
I'd do it,
You do it?
if I can do it by phone.
You know, I could find out, I think, I actually serve on the Economic Committee, and I am a staff person. I know that they really were hoping to get a board member, but.
Oh, if they want a board member, that's different, but
I mean, I
I'd be
think,
happy to sit on COG.
Yes, Jen.
I'm up for the Basalt Emergency Management Committee.
Great.
I want to work myself.
Yes, so nominated and so.
Anyone have a problem? No.
Good. Okay, what about, so are we, do we have anybody that would participate by phone on COG? I'll maybe do it if,
I'll be an alternate.
all right,
You and I want to split
Yeah.
that.
let's do
Or
that.
if you find out if Tom can do it.
Okay.
what did you say?
I said, or you can find out if
Yeah.
staff.
Yeah, maybe, could you check on that, see if it could be a staff or
Okay.
designate? And I have actually had people from the core board ask if we couldn't please have someone participate in the core board, and I'm pretty sure they said Auden, but I'm,
Let me poke around on the time commitment there.
okay.
I would
Is it
like
maybe?
to do it, so maybe, yeah. I'll talk to them and see how it goes.
Maybe, that's as good as done.
So moved.
The prize for getting on this board is you get to be on another board.
Yeah, that's right, which is fine for the county people, right?
Well, I'm happy to continue on all of
Okay.
mine. So it's kind of funny, when I looked at this, I'm like, really? I'm on the Victims and Witness Assistance and Law Enforcement Board, bail board.
see what kind of.
In 2 years, I had no idea
do
I
that.
was on that. You get that?
I want that one, I want that one.
So I didn't know I was on that one, but I'm happy to do Child Share Coalition. That's it takes a lot of time. Nordic Council, I was happy to do because I am, I am usually attending those meetings all the time, so I can bring back any Basalt-related issues, or I can bring Basalt-related issues to them.
Right. Okay, but as far as, I think, the other community boards that we've got, I think we should maybe hear from those guys as to what they do and see if anybody wants to participate. Well, that wasn't so bad.
So can we have an overall just motion blessing, and we didn't really have a roll
Okay, is there a motion to overall bless the people who volunteered for the appointments or said maybe? No, the people who did volunteer.
I have one question, and that is, if we're looking at staff to do the Northwest Council, Colorado Council of Governments, and we're looking at Tom doing that, is that at your hourly rate? Or are you doing that out of the goodness of your heart?
It would be work for the town at my same rate.
Okay.
If you didn't want to make that expense, then it would make sense to have
Yeah.
either one of your full-time staff or
Right.
someone on the council
Yeah, I
do
think
it.
Okay, I just
that's a
wanted
good point to be
I
made.
just wanted to
Sure.
clarify that.
No, that's right.
Yeah, because we would all be doing it for gas mileage.
Right.
Okay, so did we need a motion, or did we get a motion to appoint the people who
So moved.
volunteered? Okay, is there a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Good. Excellent. Okay, so, at this point, we have some executive session items that we need to discuss. Could we get a motion to go into executive session?
Madam Mayor, I move that we go into executive session for the purpose of discussing acquisition, lease, transfer, or sale of property interest in accordance with CRS 24-6-4024A, a conference with our attorney for the purpose of receiving legal advice on specific legal questions in accordance with CRS 24-6-4024B, determining positions relative to matters that are or may become subject to negotiations in accordance with CRS 24-6-4024E, personnel matters in accordance with CRS 24-6-4024F.
Is there a second?
Second?
We did that in consent. Did you say
I said
second?
second.
Okay, so there's a motion by Mark, second by Gary. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, everybody who's here, executive session matters are confidential between the council, some staff members, and our appointed attorney. So at this point, if we could ask that the TV communications be shut down and the public go out for a beer.